you're regarded as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, and at least definitely for my generation. And I love every element of what you do in making John Williams' score almost a character in your movies. And every little shot, you look at I love the little plow camera you had on Jeremy's on the plow, and I look back at the dolly zoom in Jaws when that vertigo shot that Hitchcock created back in the day. It's such a brilliant shot. As a filmmaker, I mean, we study your films in film school. But as a filmmaker, do you still find yourself having to master things about movies? What are elements of your films that you still feel like you need to work on? Because we see your movies as perfect, but what issues do you find, and what things do you feel like you still need to master as a director?
Well, I find that every time I make a new movie, it's like going back to film school in a sense. I mean, I've got a whole collection of experiences that really serve me well. So I have the history of different genres and different challenges that come with each genre. But every time I start a new movie, it's like going back to the first day of school.
Right.
I'm nervous. I'm unsure of myself. All those things are, by the way, good values for me because my fuel comes from not knowing exactly how to approach something. I get better ideas, not from confidence, but from at least being open to changing everything if a good idea suddenly arrives that day. And I'll throw everything away for a good idea. So as long as I'm open, the downside of that is I feel like I'm starting over again every time I make a picture. I've never made a film with a horse before. You know, I've worked with mechanical animals like E.T. and certainly the shark in Jaws, but I've never really made a movie with a living animal where the whole film was dependent on the performance of that animal. That introduced to me a whole set of challenges and a whole set of solutions based on hiring the right people, the horse whisperers, to train Joey to be able to be in Warhorse and make us believe that he's acting.
What is it?
It's a horse they found wandering about in no man's land.
What kind of an horse?
A miraculous kind of an horse, be my guess.
I promise you that I'll look after him, and if I can, I'll return him to your care.
He's my horse, sir.
As I was sitting here watching this film and watching these PG-13 war sequences, I thought to myself, I feel the same intensity that I felt watching your R-rated sequences in Saving Private Ryan. And I want to ask you, as a director, is it easier or harder for you to direct a PG-13 war scene, and what are the differences in the choices that you make?
Well, the big difference was finding, I guess, shots that are analogous to shocking violence, but don't have people's arms and legs and heads blown off. It was literally, if I can just be crude and just say it like that, the difference between this movie and Ryan is there's very little blood in Warhorse, hardly any at all, and yet there are intense scenes of combat, but without the kind of graphic reality that we did with our miniseries for HBO, Pacific and Band of Brothers and Ryan. And for me, it was a real creative challenge to show a cavalry charge and show how many horses and how many men were killed, and yet not actually showing the men or the horses dying. So for me, it's what was off camera, and it basically allowed me to bring the audience into this process, kind of make them my collaborators, and hope that they'll fill in the blanks that I left out.
Can you imagine flying over a war? And you know you can never look down. You have to look forward, or you'll never get home.
I've noticed this over the past couple years. I've been watching movies, and maybe this is just me, but is it harder to watch animal characters get hurt in movies than it is to watch human beings, and why is that?
Well, I think it's just that, we come home from work, and we maybe had a lousy day. And the only person that doesn't know we had a lousy day is our dog, or in some sense, even our cat. Yeah. Whatever they intuit about our day, they're there for us, and there's sort of there's kind of a beautiful wondrous rapport between people and animals, and it's always been that way. People are fiercely guarded about the safety of their animals, and we were fiercely guarded about the safety of these horses in actual scenes of combat. And the first rule was nothing is ever to happen to any of these horses. No movie is worth that.
Right.
And so we kept the horses safe throughout the entire production, even though it looks like they weren't. They were very safe.
Right. Well, it was phenomenal. Congratulations to you. It's an
Thank you.
absolute honor to sit down with you.
It is an honor to ride beside you. Let every man make himself and his country proud. Be brave. Be brave.